make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
Stop sucking!
That's the signal!
God.
Go, 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 go,
Drop
go!
it! Fix! Stop!
It's beautiful!
Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along on a Monday. It is the 24th of February. Felt like a damn heat wave over the weekend. You hit 40 degrees, and you're like, damn, I'm going to wear shorts. Hey, if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, give this video a like, leave a comment, also set your notifications. And don't forget to follow us on the other social media channels like X, Facebook, and Instagram. I happen to be Travis Justice. He happens to be Ross Peterson. What's going on there, buddy?
Nothing, man. Nothing. Fun weekend. Good weekend of basketball. I think even as an Iowa State fan, you know, it sucks to lose. No moral victories, but man, that's a fun weekend of basketball. Yeah, good weekend. Glad to be back. A lot of fun stuff to talk about. I've already cried laughing. What was it, 5:40? 5:40? I was crying laughing. So
yeah, I think
it's going to be a fun week.
I think I'm kind of with you on that. We got a lot of stuff to get to today, and I wasn't joking about reaching 40 some degrees. It was downright warm this weekend. I was like, oh, okay, I can like wear shorts. I can be in flip flops. I felt great.
Audrey, it was so warm. Audrey wore like an Easter dress to church. I was like, okay, let's go with it. Sure, throw a coat on.
We have to go through, Lent in 40 days of like sorrowfulness before you get to be in that Easter dress. But you know what? If they want to dress
cute.
up, feel good.
You
that's
look
right.
Cute and
that's
all right.
all that matters. Yeah, that's all that matters. Of course, the big game yesterday was the Drake UNI game, and that lived up to every bit of the billing. I think I'm not going out on a limb here. Ben McCollum wrapped up Coach of the Year yesterday. Bennett Sturts wrapped up Player of the Year yesterday, and now Drake at least is guaranteed a share of the conference championship regular season title. And if they win at Evansville this week, it's theirs outright. I mean, just an amazing game by Drake and UNI yesterday. I mean, for ESPN2, for people to watch that game, people watch it and this is good basketball.
Great game, man. Yeah, that was a really fun one. Did you find yourself pulling for one team or the other, Trav? I really didn't. Eli was rooting for Drake, and I think that's just a hometown thing, right? I really like Ben Jacobson. I really like the UNI Panthers, but I love this Drake story. What I really watched yesterday, Travis, what I took away from that is both of those teams are scary teams to anybody, almost any team in the country. Both of those teams are March teams.
Well coached, disciplined.
Teams, yes. Yeah, those are teams that the NCAA committee should be watching that game and going, oh, yeah, we need more of this.
Well, that's not going to happen,
It's
right?
not,
I mean,
but man, yeah, I know, and I know all the answers. I know. I shouldn't say I know all the answers. God, what an arrogant thing to say on a Monday morning. Holy cow. I mean, I know that money is the reason. I know that conference power and control is really what is at the conversation that we're having here. Is that the big boys hate the idea of sharing some of the limelight and some of the space with these nimrods. Who? Where's Drake? What's Northern what? Directional Iowa? You want us to give money to Directional Iowa? You watched that game last night or yesterday, and I don't know how you don't walk away from that and go, these are both really good basketball teams.
Yeah, and to me, if you're a basketball purist, you like watching Drake and you and I just because of the discipline, the way they're coached, the way they play hard. It's fun basketball to watch. Maybe the bigger travesty, Ross, is not only is the Missouri Valley only going to get one team in, but you look at Drake that has 25 wins right now, right? 25-3. Wow. And if you go to bracketmatrix.com, they're still only a 12 seed. I mean, we're not talking a 10, a 9, or an 8. You're sitting there with 25 wins. You've beaten Vanderbilt this year, which is a good win. You beat Miami. You didn't know Miami was going to be as bad as it was, but you're still just like, well, we got to put them somewhere, so let's just put them on the 12 line. And I think they're better than a 12 seed.
And I think that what that really is saying is Valley Team X.
Yes.
That's not even saying Drake, really. It's saying, well, I guess it's really, that's not true either, because you and I gets in.
Probably still going to be a 12. Probably still going to be a 12 seed.
Maybe lower. Probably lower, because you would be a 10-loss team from a one-bid league. Again, I think we're seeing it a little bit through those local glasses. It's directional Iowa when they close the door. With 10 losses out of a one-bid league.
Maybe
they don't see what we saw yesterday. What a fun game. What an incredible way to end that. Gary Presnall was there. In fact, this is the week to get Press on. He was there yesterday. He sent me a text from his seats. Justin Wood, I'm sure was. I didn't get to see his Media Row podcast reaction, but what a fun game to come down to those free throws, dude.
And then Bennett starts in overtime. Now, in overtime, there was some controversy because you had the double foul, and Titan Anderson was fouled out of the game. And it'd be interesting to see if the Missouri Valley Conference fines Ben Jacobson for these comments. This is what Ben had to say after the game.
Well, class, you're going to get to hear me say something that I don't say very often. It might be the worst call I've seen in my 19 years as a head coach. I think it is. And class, since you're new and you're not in here very often, you would be able to. I don't talk about this very much, do I? You've covered us because of the impact it had on the game. Like, look, there were 7 or 8 calls that Ben's going to feel like were the wrong call, and there's 7 or 8 of them that I feel like were the wrong call, but they didn't decide the game. We've got our best player in 2 plays in a row. 23 bumps him first, and he doesn't do anything the possession before that. And he come down, and 23 bumps him first again, and he waits to call a double foul. I think it's the worst call I've seen in my 19 years.
Those are strong words, man. Those are strong words. They're finable words. And the reason he was talking to a class, there was a UNI journalism class in the media room afterwards.
When he was saying class, I didn't know if that was a guy's. I couldn't tell if he was saying Klassen, like that was the last name. Okay, I'm glad you clarified that.
Yes.
Worst call you've ever seen, Travis. Here's the thing. I think there's a little bit of hyperbole there, but when Ben Jacobson, and by the way, when he says Ben's going to think there's 7 calls, I thought for a moment he was talking about himself in third person. That took me a half a beat as well. I was like, what?
Like, we got 2 Bens on the sidelines. Yeah, right. Yeah.
That carries so much more weight, Travis, because he doesn't do that stuff. You know, like we all had that dude, that friend of ours that was really quiet, never said a word, but when he did, he was a freaking killer. It was always the funniest thing in the room or the best insult. Guy was quiet and he was assassin. That it carries different weight when you're a quiet guy.
It really does.
Softly, carry a big stick. Who was that? That Teddy Roosevelt?
It might have been. There's so many quotes out there. You start to lose who has all the quotes. But for a coach to go out and say that, and like Ben, right? Because he even said, I don't say it that often. I may say it in the office privately, but I don't say it publicly. But to say it's the worst call you've seen in 19 years, and I'm with you, there's a little hyperbole. Because if you were to go over the thousands of games that Ben Jacobson has been a part of, there's going to be worse calls. But you look at the timing of it, the type of player that fouled out, and you want – and it's not always going to happen. He had 4 fouls, but you kind of have to objectively look at it and go, okay, in this situation, how does one handle it? And again, I'm lucky enough to interview a lot of Division I officials, and they talk about just the free flow of the game, understanding the situation. But, yesterday was just one call that did not go UNI's way, and it had a major impact on that overtime.
I'm sympathetic to the officials. I am. It's a really hard job. Yesterday, it did seem like one of those where they were getting in their way. Several times. Now, he says there's 7 calls that each coach wouldn't like. I think that's probably fair to say with most games that you're going to get. A coach is going to sit there and go, "That could have gone our way. That could have gone our way." Did the refs decide that game though, Travis?
No.
Man, it was such a fun game. I hate to put that sort of moniker on it.
I'm gonna have to text John Higgins a little bit later on because he runs the Missouri Valley Conference officials. I'm gonna say, hey,
no, don't get Ben. Don't say, hey, by the way, make sure are you gonna find this guy?
Oh, that's not the way that happens, Ross. What happens was Ben Jacobson called John Higgins probably immediately after the game.
Oh, is that how that works? Really?
That's how that works. Oh, yes. I'll probably get in trouble for saying this. John and I were at dinner a couple nights ago, and his phone was blowing up just from coaches. So he goes, "Look who called me," and because they're just complaining all the time or want clarification on stuff. So these coaches have
self-reporting.
Yes,
they know if they call and say, "Hey, by the way, I said some things, and by the way, I said that stuff because your guy sucks." Your guy sucks, dude. Why do you keep sending him to me? He's awful.
He gets that a lot. He's
colorblind and has no depth perception. You know that, right? He doesn't know which team is which.
I didn't even look to see who was on the call yesterday for the game, but his phone rings off the hook. He runs the Big 12. He runs the Missouri Valley Conference, and I believe a couple out west. So there's these consortiums, right? So these official coordinators run. There's like 4 or 5 guys that run all the leagues in the country, and John happens to have the Missouri Valley Conference, which is. His phone blows up quite a bit. But I think that's good that you take phone calls from coaches, you talk to them, you talk to them through it, and then they review it, and let everybody know officials are graded on a nightly basis. I mean, it's not like the officials aren't graded. If they made a bad call, they'll know they made a bad call.
It's funny, Trav. You said graded, and I heard they're great on a nightly basis, and I wouldn't have pushed back on that. It's a really, really, really tough job. I don't think that, and a lot of people would get mad if they heard me say they're great on a nightly basis. But I mean that. For the most part, these guys get it right. And they miss some obvious stuff. And when we have the advantage of all these camera angles and slow motion and instant replay and all that, it makes it look like it's an easier job than it is. I do think there are some things that could change with it. I mean, obviously, we reached this weird tipping point a couple of years ago where we started to look around and realize all the officials were north of 70. We're like, wait a minute, these guys can't keep up. Your vision starts to go bad, your reactions start to slow down, but somehow not in the officiating world. Somehow not in umpiring and officiating. It's like, oh no, the old wisdom. No, we need young blood to keep up.
Well, use John Higgins as an example. He stepped away from the game after he did a Final Four, probably at the prime of his game, but said, you know what, I'm 62, 63 years old.
Yeah,
and
that's the conversation I'm having. At that point, we all have to acknowledge he was past his prime. He might have been...
Yeah, I don't know if he's past his prime, but I mean, I think he noticed it wasn't going to get any better. How's that?
This is the thing. Yes. In no profession where athletic ability is any criteria, in no profession would we say you're in your peak past 50. None. But we've been brainwashed into believing that somehow officials, because, Travis, you kind of laid it out, it is an old boys club. You got to be in. And once you're in, you don't get out. And so it becomes like a judge's type of thing and a Supreme Court type deal.
It
you
does.
got to die to get out of the thing. And then we look around and go, well, how come there's no young kids around? Because you guys locked the doors. You locked the doors for decades. And now you're because you got 5 people around the country who are deciding who all these officials are. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well,
and
you
it is
bring
the
up
way
a
it
good.
is. And it's like this, by the way. Go to your local Little League. There's one dude setting up all of those umpires. He's got a group of people. Once he's got that group, those are his guys. It's the same thing, just on a bigger scale.
What would you think, and we're kind of derailing here, but I think it's worth the conversation, and that is in the National Football League, the officials are hired by the National Football League. They work for the NFL. In Major League Baseball, you work for Major League Baseball. In college basketball, or in the NBA, you're hired by the NBA. In college basketball, you're W-9. These guys are independent contractors. They're not employees of the NCAA. And John and I have had this conversation. Would there be a benefit? Because if you reach that upper tier, if you're in the A group, should we say, where you're considered one of the best, you're making really good money. But they're also responsible for their travel. They're responsible for their health insurance and all that stuff. And I think you would find a group that say, hey, if you're going to pay me a decent salary and also take care of health care and the travel and everything, they would be willing to become employees of the NCAA. Do you think they would be better as employees, or do you like the independent contractor model?
These are the conversations I would defer to you. I really would. I'd say, Travis, you tell me, what are the benefits of both sides of this? Because I imagine that would take some discretion. It would take each person's individual situation to decide what's best for them. Is it to be an employee, having health care? Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge for people. And it almost is, I mean, again, not to get political, but it's why healthcare becomes such a big part of politics, because you will change your life to get healthcare insurance. You will take a job that you would hate, hours that make it so you keep time away from your family. Why? So that, God forbid, something catastrophic happens.
515-517-2303. Let's go to the phones. That's where Chad is. Chad, welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on, Chad?
Hey, good morning, men. Calling in about the officiating stuff. It's a very interesting topic. I spent some time on the Des Moines Officials Association board, and I spent 10 years trying to go to Division I. I do know who John is. Seen him at some camps. I did the camper thing, going to the Division I camps, trying to get hired, and there's a lot of rabbit holes there, Travis. I need to listen to your show because there's a lot of rabbit holes that afflict officials, and what you're talking about is one of them. We are independent contractors. We have no say, and it does affect officiating in big ways, big ways. It's not just the fans sometimes that are afflicting officials. I think going to a job would be more appropriate, being hired by the league. What does John feel about that, Travis?
And I actually interviewed Ron Gruber over the weekend as well. Ron's one of the top officials in the ACC. And John and I have had this conversation. When you're younger and you're making a ton of money, you're kind of like, no, I like this. As you get older, you start to see the benefits of being an employee. John, towards the end of his career, was like, I would go work for the NCAA if you took this out of my hands. You lined up all the travel and took care of everything. He was in favor of becoming an employee. Ron Gruber said that over the weekend. He's like, you know what? When I was younger, I probably would have been no, but now. He sees the benefits of it. So it's probably where you are at your age.
Yeah, some of it, the independent assigner, not the individuals, the hat, Travis. The independent assigner in some states is illegal, like, for instance, Texas, because, an independent assigner can be good for some people and bad for others. If I'm in the league for...
Chad, I
Yeah.
need you to, because I don't, what is it? What's an independent assigner?
That'd be John.
That'd be John. Like for the CIML, we have an ex-official who is the coordinator of our officials, and like in
just
some
as
states,
it's,
you know,
just
like
as
Texas,
it's
they go
one
through
guy that assigns all of the officials for that specific organization or league.
Correct.
Okay. And
Right,
in
and
Texas,
so why that's bad is kind of if. Go ahead.
you said in Texas that's
in
different,
Texas,
but I can understand how that's bad because then you kind of get that old boys club, right?
Correct. For instance, myself, I spent 6 years trying to get into the Grandviews Conference when I was younger. I made it, got 3 games, and next year got 7, and then the next year after that, a new assigner took over. We didn't see eye to eye, and my games are gone. Boom, just like that. And because of the independent contractor status, I have no say. I have no bearing. I can't go back and claw back anything. But yeah, it is bad. And what if the independent assigner is a Dowling grad, and all the time Dowling gets the best officials, which I did kind of happen in football a little bit, you know. But so an association that would assign or an employment like John is talking would actually be better for officials. You know, there'd be tier status, there'd be, you know, ways to get in. Your longevity would count, and you would have recourse if you had a bad season. You couldn't just be fired. You could actually lose a few games, but not all your games. So there's a lot of rabbit holes here to talk about. I really need to listen to your show, Travis.
Chad, can I ask how old of a guy you are? I'm gonna guess it sounds like you're late 30s.
I'm 51, actually. I'm on my 29th year of high school basketball. I remember when Travis was interviewing to be on the Rush or the Morning Rush. I remember the tryouts.
Biggest mistake Cake's ever made. Biggest. Oh, I saw Silvestrini the other day, dude. Speaking of that day, I saw Silvestrini at the high school wrestling tournament. He was walking the other direction. He was pulling his cart full of stuff. I could see the look in his face of, I've been here for 15 hours. So I didn't go up and say, hey, Rick, Ross Peterson from KXNO. Remember when Travis came in and made us as uncomfortable as one guy can make 2 men?
Hey, Chad, if you want
good topics.
If you want to listen, go to maketherightcalls.com. It's maketherightcalls.com. It's a paid service, but if you're an official, you got the John Higgins basketball camps coming up. There's 4, by the way, if you're still wanting to do those camps. But he's got one in Kansas City.
Very good.
All right.
Very good.
Chad, thanks for calling in, man. Really appreciate that. That's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet, Russ. See you later.
See you, buddy. Interesting. Man, that's really cool. I don't ever think of guys like that being out there. That's a dude that wants to be an official, wanted to be an official. Tried. What's my path? What bricks do I have to put on the wall to get to that point that I want to be at? And you go, rabbit hole, loophole, red tape.
And by the way, the path for most officials is the same, Ross. Every official that I've interviewed started doing like 3rd grade girls basketball games, worked up to high school, started doing camps, then got into like NAIA like Grandview and just worked themselves up. But they also say it's no different than life. You have to network. It's who you know, right?
Buddy.
I mean, everything you do in life is who you know.
Yeah, I could take you down. I mean, you know that's how I got my job at the radio station 20 years ago, whatever that was. I called a guy from church who was like, hey, because my dad said, you were good at the radio thing. You should take a swing at that again. And a dude from church, Glenn, who's now my brother's pastor, he ended up doing he was the officiant of my wedding. He's now my brother's pastor in Bondurant. He had just quit as a salesman at WHO. And I called him and said, hey, what should I do about this? I want to get back into radio. He's like, that's funny. I just quit at WHO, and the general manager is one of my best friends. I'm going to call him. And he called me back and said, hey, this is a weird thing, but they actually have an opening. Did you ever heard of Jack Emerson? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Of course. He's like, yeah, Jack needs an assistant. So I went to my job at Wells Fargo that day, and I'm like, guys, you're not going to believe this. I made this phone call to this guy. I'm going to get an interview. Jack Emerson needs an assistant. And my buddy John says, wait, I went to high school with his wife. Hold on. He picks up his phone. He makes a couple calls. Pretty soon he's like, hey, Luann, it's John Michelson from East High. How you been? Hey, is your husband Jack Emerson? Yeah. Is he looking for an assistant? Yeah. I know the guy he needs to hire. So when I went into my interview, I go in and Jack doesn't interview me. I walk in and he's like, all right, here's your office. Here's where you pick up work. This, you go this way, da-da-da. Like, shit, I have a job. I'm getting this job.
It's all because you knew somebody.
And Jack literally pulls me aside and goes, how'd you do this? My boss came in and said we needed to find out who you were, and then I went home and my wife told me to hire you?
It's who you know, man. It's who you know.
Thank you, God. Right there. Where's my cross? Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
515-517-2303. You can interact with us on X as well. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. We'll be right back.
Doug Burgess, Service Manager here at Willis Infinity. As we move into 2025, I want to say one final thank you for what 2024 has brought to us. Getting the opportunity to meet many of your customers, and for you, voting us the #1 Google-ranked dealership in the Midwest. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And to know why, and to have that Willis experience yourself, stop on in or go online to make your appointment at willisinfinity.com.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
When it comes to mortgages, no one is more trusted than Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. With more than 25 years of experience, Gary has been Iowa's top mortgage banker for the past 5 years. With creativity and professionalism, Gary is dedicated to finding unique programs to help you afford the home you deserve. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank/Gary Presnall. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm John Linares, Sales Manager at Willis Lexus, and this month we're going to help you find your perfect match. Stop out and see us. We've got great inventory of NX and NX Hybrid, TX, and ES. We have more inventory arriving daily, and this month Lexus has also brought back the very popular 42-month lease. Stop out and see us or visit us online at willislexus.com.
Not too many places hit all the right notes. But when it comes to great atmosphere and delicious scratch-made food, Truman's is the name to know. Game days are for Chiefs fans, but every day is for the food fans. Truman's, get to know us by name.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Listen to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive all day long at therushladio.com. Again, that's therushladio.com. You can find the replay running 24/7. Also, you can find the podcast replay of the show on all your favorite podcast channels. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Good to have you along on a Monday. Went down a rabbit hole I didn't think we were going to go down. Was we were talking about the Drake UNI game. Went down an officiating rabbit hole. I'll see if I can get Higgins on later on in the week, Ross. We can kind of talk about that officiating consortium, and we're coming up on the postseason as well. So those postseason assignments are getting ready to be
and I know you know John well enough. Then maybe we could get him to be honest with us about some of this stuff. Is there truly an old boys network? Why isn't there younger blood, or is this a false premise? Are we? Because it's very possible that we're only familiar with those guys that have been around a long time. So those are the names we see. I'd even want to get Bloom, because we have so many people in this community that really do care about officiating. And to some of us, that seems kind of odd. But man, I'm glad they are.
Well, I would say this is the reason MakeTheRightCalls.com started was to really drive people towards the camps, because they are noticing a lack of officials at the younger. But the problem isn't at the college level. The problem is you got to officiate. You have to start somewhere. And most people don't want to start or are sick and tired of what's going on at the high school level and the AU level, because parents are just so nasty that they're just like, screw it. Just screw it. And, like a lot of things, you've got to put your time in, right? Meaning you can't go from third grade girls AAU to calling a Division I basketball game. You have to work up the ladder. But a lot of people get off the ladder because it's just like, you know what? I'm done getting yelled at by parents. I'm done getting yelled at by crappy AAU coaches.
And if I would imagine for a moment in an official's head, a young official, there's that thing of like, God, if people care this much for 10U, what am I going to get yelled at if I get to high school games?
Yeah.
Well, it's the exact opposite. Except for with rare exception, I've seen with rare exception, I have seen high schools be pretty good to officials.
Yeah.
I've seen some high schools be unbelievably awful. It's been a while. I haven't covered high school sports in a long time, but it's been a while.
I would say this. I always ask the officials, what is the biggest change they've seen in the last 15 years of basketball? And the two answers are pretty consistent. One, gambling, right? I mean, the gambling thing has changed everything, and they got to make sure. I mean, they have to be careful of the clothing they wear. I mean, if you were to step out, even if you were your alma mater, if you wore your alma mater's gear, you're gonna get questioned on everything. The other thing that they talk about is that because of social media, because of ESPN Plus, everything's on television now. There would be a lot of times that you were not as scrutinized over every single call that you make, that everything's out there for the world to see. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just something they've had to adjust to. And I've asked, what percentage of calls do you want to get right a night? And you want to hear 100%. That's impossible.
You want to get 100 right.
Yeah.
What percentage do you expect? When you really go down and break them down, what is that number?
It's about a 92 to 95%.
I was going to say 90. That seems, and that's funny that they can get to 92 to 93%. That's funny.
So, I mean, and to me, that you're talking about 40 minutes and there's a call every time down the court. I think you hit 90%. You're doing pretty darn good.
In those things, that's not our 92% of your whistles right. Right? How do they do that? How do you even judge that? Because you have to, not making a call is making a call.
Yes.
Watching two guys bump into each other and not blowing your whistle, okay, you got that one right. Check.
A lot of it comes down to the way the play finishes, right? If you don't make a call, it's kind of the way the play finishes. There's a lot that goes into it. And the more I talk to these officials, I don't ever want to be an official. I mean, I have taught. I think I know more about officiating now, but it's not something that I would want to do.
They get, like you said it well earlier. They get paid well, but
yes, they
there's
do.
a lot that comes with that getting paid well. Okay.
So
Tough. Yeah. See if John would join us to talk about this stuff. That'd be fun.
He owes me.
And tell him he gets a free plug for the camps.
or his roofing business, right? You're like, oh,
we're trying to sell to some roofers.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Unless he wants, listen, give him my number and we can talk.
Cole brings up a good point to put this in perspective. This is one of the better comments I've seen. Imagine taking a math test with tons of people watching and scrutinize every answer, and you still get a 90%.
And Cole, you have to get the answers immediately.
Yes.
As soon as you see the multiple choice, you got to dive in. That's a good. That's fair. Again, this is why. So think about what was it? Who was it that said that? I'm so sorry.
Cole.
Troy? Cole. Should have wrote that down. Sorry. Cole, think about this too. Like, we get mad at some of these officials for getting arrogant. Ed Hightower, even John Higgins gets a reputation, right? Because the guy looks good. Man, he's got to be cocky. They got cocky, this guy. He makes it all.
You got to have ego, though.
Dude, that's what I'm getting at, Trav. You got to have ego to get through all this. To get through all this, you got to get it right, and to then have, by the way, to get to that point, you'd have to have multiple times where people said to you, hey, by the way, you did a really good job today. You did a really good job. Good job. Yeah, and over time, you'd go, yeah, I did a good job. Look at that. Yeah.
That was one of the
who gets 92.7% of his calls right? This guy.
It's funny that you brought that up. That's what I asked Ron Groover over the weekend, and I said, "How do you manage ego with empathy? Because you got to have both. You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to talk to coaches. They're not always going to like your answer, but how do you manage that?" And Ron was like, when I was younger, I was a bully ref. Like I was that guy.
Yeah.
He goes, because I'm a competitor. I played the game.
Yeah.
I was one of these guys that was like, this is my show. This is what. But he goes, the more you do it, you realize, you have to manage ego with empathy and communicate. And the more you communicate,
Trav, that's another element I'd never considered. Because some of the guys I know that are officials are not that. Most of the guys. So I want to name a very specific guy here, Mark Amadeo. Mark is an Iowa Sports High School Hall of Famer because of his broadcasting career. He's been Dowling's play-by-play guy for years. He was my color guy for Grandview and then play-by-play guy at Grandview for years. Wonderful guy, but he's also a sports official. Mark's like Brent Bloom. Like when you meet these guys, you're like, oh, there's no ego there. There's no ego at all. This is just a really nice guy. You just threw an element in there I hadn't thought of that there are officials who were competitors. They've got that, not, again, ego, sure, but competitive drive. They want to stay in the game. They want, they wanted sports to be their life. They find this avenue where sports can be their life. And so now that's an element I guess I'd never really considered. That there is like a competitive nature to
absolutely
a lot of officials that I've. God, some days I feel really dumb.
No,
no, it is. I'm 46 years old, and I just looked at sports in a whole new light, and went, "Oh, they're humans too." I thought those were just emotionless idiots. That's right. That's my friends. Those are my friends out there. Huh.
Tyler says, you're not dumb. You're just learning.
Thank you, Tyler. No, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to put that's one that goes on the gravestone. Here lies Ross. He wasn't dumb. He was just learning.
We could put that on a Rush shirt. You're not dumb. You're learning. That's what the show's about every day. You're going to learn.
You're not dumb. You're just learning. Yeah.
And by the way, you want an official. Believe it or not, I think deep down you want an official who's got a little bit of an ego on him because you know they're confident in what they call, right? If you don't have an ego, then and you're just kind of wishy-washy out there, you don't want that. You want a guy who makes a call, stands by it, whether it's right or wrong. You made the call.
All right, can we go back? Because I wanted to talk to you. I had such a fun weekend, including Friday night. Saturday night hung out with Friday night did a charity thing for Merrill Middle School with my buddy Josh Alton. Saturday night hung out with a bunch of buddies. We watched the state finals. But watching the state finals, my buddy Scott, we're just talking about officials. And by the way, some of this conversation, because when Scott was a high school wrestler 30 years ago, some of those same officials are still guys that are doing the state finals.
Wow.
Right? And that conversation came up, and this sort of conversation, but we were also talking about like slow pitch softball, guys that are officials at slow pitch softball, and then the assholes that yell at the official that's making $50 for the hour, 70, for his 55 minutes to be there, whatever it is. Scott has the greatest. He's like, when I get done with all my, because he's still a coach and competitive, and he's like, when I get done, I think I'm going to go to George Davis and be one of his softball officials. Because here's my theory. Anytime somebody argues about a call, I'll just change my call. What? He's like, yeah, anytime. Guy, yeah, he's safe. No. Okay, yeah, hey, they think he's out. No, he's safe. All right, guy, yeah, well, he's safe, yep. No, we think he's out. All right, hey, guys, they say he's out. You got to make the call. I did. I made the call. Y'all yelled at me. So now you guys get to make the call. You guys figure it out. You guys want to arm wrestle for it? You want to Rochambeau? Anybody argues a call? Because I 55 minutes, you guys are done, and I get paid. So you guys argue as long as you want. Was he safe or out? I thought he was out.
That would be a good strategy.
Wouldn't that be a great strategy?
Because it would shut people up fairly quickly. Say, I'm going to do this all night,
You'd
guys.
Shut it down right away. Right away, you'd shut it down. All right, hey, you fellas are right. I'm just here to facilitate.
What a brilliant strategy. Brilliant strategy. Because 55 minutes later, you've played a half an inning. All right, game's over.
I have some brilliant friends. My greatest trash talk of all time happened at a slow pitch softball game. We're in a church league slow pitch softball game. Again, guys getting paid, probably volunteering at that point, right? And one of my buddies is like razzing the guy. Every call he makes, he's like, blue. Come on. Oh, it doesn't matter which team. He's just giving the guy a hard time, right? And the umpire turns around and goes, listen, one more comment like that, and you're out of here. And my buddy goes, no problem, man. One more call like that, and I'm leaving.
Jason says, slow pitch is the worst, by the way. They've seen fights over calls.
Oh, God, guys, dude show up like it is the freaking World Series, man. Guys take slow pitch softball really serious. And I will be honest with you, I've had some buddies that play that at a really high level, and it's a freak show. And I mean, in a really cool way. These guys are crazy athletes in their 30s and 40s. It's wild. It's wild. It's a different form of athleticism, but it takes a certain type of freak to be able to do that at that level. That's not what I don't think that's what Jason's talking about. I think Jason's probably talking about the dudes that are wearing uniforms for their rec league, showing up intense, following the standings. Hey, guys, we're going to stick around for the 7 o'clock game because the team we play next week's playing at 7.
Yeah, we got to scout. We got to see what the arc is on his slow pitch. See the range
and Trav, I'll be honest, I don't know much. The guys I know that played at a really high level, there's very little crossover from the guys that take it too serious. There's some. There's some crossover there, but the Venn diagram of the guys who take it too serious and the guys that are really good at it, it goes like this. And that's it.
Very close.
Like, we've talked about this. The dudes that are really good at stuff, they don't care about it. They're not impressed by it. They're not impressed. They get to do it. It's easy for them. They're not impressed by it. Those of us that can't, we stand around and go, whoa, that's cool.
When's the last time you played slow pitch softball? It's been 20 years for me.
I loved playing it. I loved it. No. I've played just a couple years ago. My buddies and I played. Yeah. We did the rec league thing in Altoona for a long time. Again, lucky enough that I had some of those friends in this category that were super good. So when we put our friend team together, it made our team good. But half of us were just idiots that were JV athletes.
Iowa State went on the road this weekend. It was a classic top 10 battle between Houston. Two of their best players, their two leading scorers, gone. And you mentioned the word moral victory when the show started. There are no moral victories, but I tell you what, Iowa State played a lot better than I thought they were going to play, Ross, with Curtis Jones out, Keyshawn Gilbert out.
You have got to watch that game and feel good about that as a cyclist.
Yes.
And I did not feel good about a loss. What's the right way to put that? Like, you're right. No moral victory, but nothing to hang your head about, I think is the way we say that in sports, right? Nothing to hang your head about that loss.
Yeah.
That on the road against one of the best teams in the country, you were there. You stood toe-to-toe and battled with that team and looked like a Final Four team to me. So that's what I think. You wanted to come away with a victory. If you can't come away with a victory, that's what you wanted a loss to look like, is being that close of a game. So, yeah, fun one. Man, just I don't know what again, I hate using these cliche terms, but it's a gutsy team. They're tough.
Well, to me, that's a sign of culture, and that is okay. You've got Gilbert out, you've got Curtis Jones out, and the style of play, what's expected, doesn't change. Everybody knew what their role was. Everybody understood. It wasn't like, oh, feel sorry for us. We're going to lay down. No, they went out and said, we're going to compete. We're going to try to win this thing. I was looking at the bracketmatrix.com this morning. That's kind of a compilation of all the bracketology that's out there. Iowa State's still on that number 3 line. They're the highest number 3, Ross. So you look at that and go, okay, you get through the rest of the season. If Jones and Gilbert come back, which they're expected to, you win the Big 12 tournament, which is very likely in Kansas City. There's no reason Iowa State can't get up to a 2 line. It's very possible. Now, Houston's probably going to win the Big 12 outright. We'll see how much the conference tournament plays a part in it. But it's kind of like it's between Iowa State and Texas A&M right now for that last number 2 spot. So a good performance, nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to feel bad about. And you left there going, all right, this team's sitting in a good spot.
Speaking of worst calls we've ever seen, they go to the monitor to review that in the cylinder call, and they come back and I thought that's one of those you see the replay and you go, oh yeah, they're gonna overturn this. Even the announcer's like, oh yeah, that's. I mean, was it Jay Billis that was doing the?
Yes,
the
Jay
color?
Billis was doing the game.
It sounded like Billis when he's like, if that's in the cylinder, then you can't play defense. If that's in the cylinder, every guy that's playing good defense is in the cylinder, and we've just made defense illegal. And they come back, and what was that mic setup that they had?
Oh,
we've decided that we confirmed the call to the cylinder.
Now I'm getting some clarification that they reviewed it to see if it was flagrant.
I did now. Okay, I was traveling at that time. Audrey had some coding competition stuff. And Eli ended up going to watch the game, and then we were in the car. So I feel, right as that was happening, I feel like that's where I was. I thought I even heard them say, in whatever broadcast I was listening to, I thought I heard them say they were specifically not looking at it for flagrant, but maybe I misheard it or I'm misremembering.
Iowa got a win over the weekend. They beat Washington down at half, then fell down 9 in the second half.
There's no quit in this team, Trav.
There's no quit. There's just no quit. But
hey, good win. Good win. Slow down.
Decent win. Though it was nice. A must win. It was a must win.
Yeah.
If they would have lost that,
you held on to your spot in the Big Ten tournament. It was a nice. I shouldn't. Again, I'm struggling with my words today because I want to get my emotions right. It was a nice win. It was fun to see that team claw back. It's fun to see that emotion. Hell, you're a Hawkeye fan and the Hawkeyes won. That's a fun day. I always think of my buddy Jake Sullivan. If you can't be happy when you're winning, you're a real loser. And Hawks won. Your team won. But the perspective of it is against a bad team at home, holding on to the bottom spot in a conference tournament. Okay, yeah, got it. That's the hard part about all this, right? Is that you want to feel good about it, but you feel better about Iowa State losing than you do about Iowa winning. See, you know me, Jen, and I'm genuinely, I'm not that way. I wanted Iowa State to win that game.
No. What I'm saying is about the long term, right? You're like, okay, you played really well. You can live with the loss.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. If you're an Iowa State fan, you're in a better mental place than you are than if you're an Iowa fan about Iowa.
I mean, I think you and I both we want Iowa and Iowa State both to win.
I get what you're saying.
You're like,
yes.
God, you're like, wow, Iowa State. Even though they got beat, you're like, this team's setting up. Iowa wins. You're like, okay, we're happy
Travis,
they won.
You and I, but no secret. You and I are both Hawkeye fans. Now I get it, and I apologize. Sometimes, again, I try to tell people I'm pretty stupid sometimes. Took me a beat to realize what you were saying there.
Yeah.
That if you're genuinely in the middle and you're just watching these games, you come away with a much better impression from Iowa State's loss.
Yes.
On the road at a top 5 team battling like that than you do from the Hawkeye win that is at home against a bottom feeder.
Because right now we are afraid to become emotionally involved with Iowa basketball team. As Ross drinks his core power.
Dude,
I love the core
so
power.
Good. And then they got
you got 42 grams of protein in that thing?
This thing is so good. It has 84% of the protein that I need in a day. So I drink 1.5 of these, I'm good to go.
You're good to go.
2, I basically become Lou Ferrigno. If I drink 2 of these in a day, that's why I have to be careful. I got to be careful. I can only drink 1 a day because if I drink 2, I get too jacked.
You're going to get too buff.
Yeah.
Too buff.
Do you know
is that the chocolate?
No sugar. There's 7 grams of sugar in this thing. That's nothing. 50% of my vitamin D. Yeah. 70% of my calcium in a day. 70% of the calcium in a day. My bones, Travis, are so strong it's ridiculous. I have to be careful walking upstairs.
Because you might just crush your stairs?
Might break the stairs. My bones are that strong after, again, 1 a day. It's all I got to live myself. You might be able to stomach 2. Maybe your bones need 2. If that's the case, core power.
From an Atlantic Coca-Cola bottle.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
Good to have them on board, by the way.
Eli doesn't like the one with the 42 grams of protein. He likes there's one that's like
26.
26?
Yeah. People reminding that Ross is just unbreakable. Oh, he's breakable.
Not yet.
He's fragile. He's fragile.
I'm about this far. I'm about a third of the way to unbreakable.
Halfway there. That's a good breakfast, though. That's a good breakfast. People ask how I lost a lot of weight. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Protein shakes were a big part of it.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I know
yes.
that people think that you took some sort of pill or a shot.
I've never taken the shot. I've never taken the semaglutides. I was never taking a shot. I've never taken a pill. I take the only pill that I take is my cholesterol medicine on a nightly basis. So I take cholesterol medicine because
I shouldn't laugh because if I ever went to the doctor, they'd probably put me on some sort of pill.
You should probably go to the doctor and get. You're at the age, Ross, where you're going to need that colonoscopy, and you're probably going to need to do some blood work.
I had one of those. They said I was good.
Ryan does want to remind me that cocaine is a hell of a fat burner. Yeah, but yeah, not quite my style. Not quite my style.
I remember in high school, it was like, man, the girls are getting skinnier in the junior and senior year. One of the guys was like, yeah, dummy. It's called meth. Oh.
Yeah, their teeth are gone too. Dummy.
So naive.
515-517-2303. We got an hour in the books. We got an hour to go. We're going to take a break, start up. We got some unique sports that we're going to that had Ross just laughing earlier. A-Rod's back in the news for a good reason.
Are we an hour into the day already? Wow.
Yes, we're an hour into the day. These days fly right on by, which is just fine because that means we're having fun. If a day goes long, it means you're not having any fun. If a day flies by, you're like, man, we're having fun today, and we're having fun on the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bobby here at Land Rover Des Moines. Just wanted to say it's February, so I invite you to come in and fall in love with a Land Rover. We've got over 43 of them in stock and 2.9% financing on select vehicles. You'll never find a better time to fall in love with something just like this. So call, click, or visit us at LandRoverDesMoines.com. or stop down in the showroom and see one in person. You'll be glad you did.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Hi, I'm John Linares, Sales Manager at Willis Lexus, and this month we're going to help you find your perfect match. Stop out and see us. We've got great inventory of NX and NX Hybrid, TX, and ES. We have more inventory arriving daily, and this month Lexus has also brought back the very popular 42-month lease. Stop out and see us or visit us online at willislexus.com.
largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
Do you have a pest problem? With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
Number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by our good friends over at Willis Automotive. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and also leave your comments and set your notifications so you know when we go live. Follow us on our other social media platforms, X, Facebook, and of course, Instagram. We're here till 8 o'clock today. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Talked a lot about Drake's win over Northern Iowa. Talked a lot about officiating. And, of course, Iowa and Iowa State's victories over the weekend. Over the weekend, Ross, besides watching sports, I was on a quest to find, like, the perfect carry-on luggage. And I'm having a hard time because I'm going to Italy in a couple weeks, and I only take a carry-on. And I've always, used like a backpack. I had an Osprey backpack that I borrow from my brother-in-law.
Osprey sounded really pretentious. Super pretentious.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to sound pretentious.
Osprey,
but,
okay.
So I'm going to all these places looking for like the perfect.
Can you describe to us what would you don't know until you see it? It's art. It's pornography.
Yes.
It's when you see it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And I'm
By the way,
struggling.
pornography is nipple. When I see nipple, I go, "Oh, that's porn."
But I'm on Amazon going, okay, this one looks good, but I want to touch it, I want to feel it, I want, I want to. You know what it really comes down to?
Carry on. Okay.
Yeah. Back to the carry on. Yes. I want to know that if I put something inside of it, that I can like overstuff it, sit on it, and still zip it, and get way more in there than I'm supposed to have.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna know it when you see it. It's
Yes.
got to have a little give to it.
Yes.
You almost want it broke in a little bit. It sounds like, Trav.
I don't. Yeah, probably.
Is there a
but
Play It Again Sports for carry-on luggage?
Yeah, I could probably go to Goodwill or a thrift store, but I have a hard enough time wearing somebody else's clothes. Using somebody else's luggage, I don't know if I could do. Because you're supposed to like boil clothes when you get them to get like the potential bed bugs and stuff out. I didn't know this. I saw this on TikTok the other day. Like, hey, if you go thrifting.
Wait a minute. What?
Yes, I did not know this. Like if you go thrifting, and my daughter goes thrifting all the time. I would say the majority of her outfits are bought at thrift shops because they like to go thrifting.
She ever had a bed bug problem?
No.
Neither have I.
No.
My mom was a big time thrifter. A lot, and I don't mean like when I was a kid. We had my kids had a lot of thrift clothes. We never had bed bug problem ever.
No, either of we. But now the big thing is, according to TikTok, is like get a big cauldron and boil your clothes first.
All right. I'll tell you and I don't mean to diverge you too much, but I'm going to tell you this. I don't have TikTok, but scrolling through, doing the doom scroll thing that we all do. I ran into one the other day that I tried, and it worked.
Really?
Dude.
A life hack?
Crazy. So I buy meat in bulk, and then I freeze it, and then usually you got to plan that about 24 hours in advance, right?
Okay, do you have like that thing that vacuum seals your meat?
No, I don't have. I mean, most of the meat that I buy is, it's already sealed up or it's packaged by the locker or something like that. So then I set it in the fridge and I let it thaw in the fridge for 24 hours. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm flipping through the other day, and this guy's like, hey, by the way, you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to do that. You got a pound of hamburger you want to thaw? Here's what you do. You take a pot. You're going to think I'm insane. You take a pot, like an empty pot, and you turn it upside down, and you set it on the counter.
Okay.
Okay. Then you set your frozen meat on top of the bottom of the pot. Okay.
Okay. I got you. I'm with you so far.
Now
You're talking hamburger or steaks?
Hamburger, steak, whatever. Chicken.
Okay.
I did it with chicken the other day. Now you take another pot, empty pot, off your countertop, off your shelf, and you set it on top of the frozen meat.
Now, hold on. Don't you need a pot that's bigger than the pot it's going over? So it goes.
It doesn't go over, Travis. Now this one's setting up. This one's setting upright so that it looks like you could fill it. So
Okay.
you've got upside down pot.
Okay.
Okay. Flat surface, meat. Flat surface, pot.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now I understand. The visual that you just did on YouTube is helps me out.
Then you walk away, Travis.
Just walk away.
That's it. That's it. That's it. You put the two pots on your meat and you walk away. And dude, like 15 minutes later, my meat from the freezer is workable. At least wait a half hour, it's thawed. Am I crazy? Is that something that a lot of people have? Is that something that was a known thing? You could just set pots on frozen meat and it would.
I didn't know. A lot of people are saying that cold transfers to metal, so the metal is
the thing that because I got curious and you know me, I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
It's magic.
And basically, it's like, yeah, this is what the pot is designed to do. The pot's designed to transfer heat or transfer temperature as fast as possible. So and then with those empty spaces, it's convecting that heat constantly. So it's pulling that cold out of the. Anyway.
Now I'm going to have to try this.
I was blown away.
Probably works best for steaks because those are somewhat flat, right? If you put like a pound of hamburger up there.
Yeah, I had to do because my hamburger's frozen in balls, so I had to do 2 pounds of hamburger at the same time.
Okay, is it going to roll off? How am I going to balance this on there? What does that look like? Wow. See?
Give it a shot. Let me report back.
They're like, hey, Ross, wait till you hear about a microwave. Yeah, but there's something about nuking your meat.
Thank you. I thought I was alone there too.
No, I'm with you on that.
It just feels like my steak comes out. It looks like it's kind of already cooked a little. Just look, and it feels funky. You grab it, you're like, no, something happened.
Yeah.
It looked good when I put it in there.
I'm with you on this.
And so I usually take my time and just let it thaw in the fridge. Anyway, what did we had a whole weekend of sports and nonsense to talk about. We're talking about thawing meat.
Thawing meat and travel luggage. 515-517-2303.
That's where it started, your travel on luggage, which you can't even describe what you're looking for.
I can't. Mazer, welcome to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Yell at us. Willis Automotive, thank you so much for putting up with this nonsense.
Dang, I'm going to yell at you. Like, I'm going to go dirty in 2 big-ass pots just to defrost meat when there's a setting on the microwave to do it in a third of the time.
I don't like what it does to the meat, Mazer. Am I crazy for that, first of all? Am I living in some sort of alternate universe where I think the microwave ruins the steak?
You can dislike it all you want. I don't care. But the fact of the matter is, if you're using 2 big-ass pots to smash and cook meat and you're putting those in the sink, what are you going to do when you need, like, macaroni or spaghetti? Oh, I had to de-thaw the chicken.
Well, I mean, most of the time, I think about it ahead of time, and I set something in the fridge to thaw. Right now, I got a couple things to pick from tonight in the fridge. Okay, So, but I'm saying, and not an emergency. I saw this trick. I get home. I'm like, I could try that. I've got an hour before I'm going to start cooking dinner. And I did it, and I was blown away. And then I read about it, and I'm like, science.
It just seems like one of those things. You buy the thing that says, "That's on TV. It's really awesome. You use it twice, and you never use it again because you just find out it's a lot of work and it's wasted."
I kind of lost
But
part
anyhow,
of that,
Travis,
Mazer. I'm sorry, buddy.
congratulations on it just seems like buying one of those products like as seen on TV and then it doesn't work. It works like twice and you stop doing it.
We could make a product that's basically two pots that smashes meat together.
It's out there. It's out there. I've seen it, but I never believed it.
The natural defroster?
Yes, it's out there.
It's called heat.
Thanks, Mazer. Good to hear from you, buddy. Mazer's been with us. You remember Julie? Julie Fry?
Love Julie.
Yeah,
Julie
we haven't heard from Julie in a long time. And I was worried about her. And I'm like, hey, where you been? And she's like, man, I haven't listened to any radio for a long time. She's been busy. I said, hey, just to let you know.
Great lady.
If you can't listen live, great family, great. She's been loyal for a long time. She's like, I feel so bad. I said, don't feel bad. Just go to therushradio.com and you can listen all the time. I'm always be,
You're the
always
best
be doing
and the worst. I got to tell you, you are the best and the worst. To reach, got to know Julie's husband well over the years. That's a good family. Fun lady, man. We had a lot of fun with Julie over the years.
Ross, I don't know if you have seen this or not, but this was A-Rod at the Bucknell game yesterday.
That's Alex Rodriguez.
Yes, and he takes a half-court shot, banks it in, celebrates like anybody else because he just won $10,000 for a Bucknell student.
Oh, I thought A-Rod won the money.
That's awesome. My whole question was, it wasn't like, hey, A-Rod just made a half-court shot. It was, what was A-Rod doing at Bucknell University for the Bucknell Army game, right? I mean, like, that's a weird place for him to be. Yes.
And what can I? Yeah. Do you know anything more about that promotion?
Yes.
Okay.
So he was at Bucknell because the dude he's buying the Timberwolves with is a Bucknell graduate, and they were at Bucknell to do a forum. I think about entrepreneurialism and stuff like that. So he stuck around an extra day and went to the Bucknell game. And they're like, hey, Alex Rodriguez is here. He's going to take a half-court shot. And if he makes it, some lucky student's going to get $10,000. Banks it in. Isn't that just one of those things, though? I mean, it was an okay-looking shot. Okay. But good things just follow athletes like that. Like, you're like, it's A-Rod.
Yes and no. Yeah. Sure. No. I mean, Alex Rodriguez is an athlete, but that shot looks like a 50-year-old dad.
Yes.
Attempting a half-court shot. That's what it would look like if I went out there. Chucking it from the hip.
Yeah, but he made it. You probably wouldn't.
Give me enough shots, I'm gonna.
He got one.
Might not make the first one.
I love that he.
But he works out more than I do.
He's ripped. I'm like, are you still juicing, man? Are you still juicing?
I'm trying. I'm really trying.
You know what he's doing? He's drinking the Core Power. He's drinking the Core Power.
He probably got him some supplements. And then there is a part of me that I want to be like $10,000, and to Alex. And I know it's not Alex Rodriguez's $10,000, but what would be the really cool story is if it was like, yeah, Alex Rodriguez won $10,000 for this kid, and then paid for his tuition.
That would be super cool. Because you know who can afford it? A-Rod.
Alex Rodriguez. If you just bought the Timberwolves, you had to make a half-court shot for a college kid to get $10,000. It's super cool. It's super cool that they do the promotion. All of it. That's really neat. Neat that A-Rod went out there and did that because, again, if he doesn't make it, I'm kind of impressed by Alex Rodriguez. As I'm thinking about this out loud, I'm kind of impressed that A-Rod did this because there's a chance he goes out there and embarrasses himself.
True.
You know what I mean?
Very true.
He missed the thing totally, and every college kid who didn't play JV sports in high school is like, Alex Rodriguez sucks. I can't even hit the basket. So he put himself on the line a little bit by doing that. It wasn't real easy for Alex Rodriguez to go, no.
You want me to take a half-court shot? Nah. I'm not
I'm
gonna embarrass myself
you to show up.
Though he did. It shows you what making a half-court shot does because he celebrated like he just like won the lottery. I mean, I think he was happy for the kid, but I think he was just as happy for himself.
You hit a half-court shot. That's like isn't that tantamount to hitting a hole-in-one? I know it seems a little bit more common to hit a half-court shot, but maybe because we've all done that more often than we've shot at par threes with a legitimate shot at a hole-in-one. I don't know. My buddy Christian, who's usually commenting, Christian's the guy with 27 hole-in-ones in his life. When you get to that point, do you still celebrate him the same way? I'm dead serious.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
If I hit a hole-in-one, I'm doing cartwheels to the course, to the hole. I'm running down. I'm doing the siren above my head as I run. Ride the pony the whole way.
Everybody on the either 9-hole or 18-hole course is going to know that you hit a hole-in-one because you're going to yell so loud and let everybody know. And then when you get to the clubhouse, you're going to buy everybody's drinks because that's customary.
No, I'm not doing that part, but I am going to lay on the green and do snow angels on the green until there's a permanent spot. You just play around me.
Gonna wear it down.
Everybody else just play around me. Play around me, guys. It's never happening again. I'm living it up.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving at all. Hy-Vee dropped its sponsorship of the IndyCar race at the Iowa Speedway. Pretty late in the game to be doing this, but they made the announcement over the weekend that they're still going to participate in a way, but they're not going to be the main sponsor, Ross. So what this means is the main, the last several years, they've brought in big concert acts before the show, right? And tickets were expensive, but you had major players you had big-time talent that would do a concert. So tickets are going to go down 50%. But what do you think? And this isn't Hy-Vee hate. It's just because, it's not cheap to do this stuff. But do you think people will go to the IndyCar race without the draw of the concerts?
Oh, man, the concerts were a huge draw.
Yes.
Of that.
Major.
Oh, man. What was my brain's going a million directions. So ask me that question again because I've got a lot of stuff written down, and I want to make sure I don't get.
I don't know if I have a direct question. I sit there and go, you pull out of the main sponsorship, but I thought Hy-Vee did the right thing and going, okay, you just can't have an Indy. Iowa Corn had it for the longest time, but it was just an IndyCar race, and you're like, okay, it's just a race. Hy-Vee tried to make it an event, right? Like, okay, you can have the race, but let's bring in major musical acts to play, and then you go, hey, let's go watch these fast cars, but listen to some great music at the same time.
Travis, you just nailed it, man. They made it an event.
Yes,
they made
an
it
experience.
more than just the race because right now you've got to be an IndyCar fan, not even a race fan. That's too broad of a term. You have to be an IndyCar fan in Iowa to go to this event with the current setup.
Cole says, I went to a Luke Combs concert and a race broke out.
Exactly. That's how a lot of people feel about it, how they went over there. Good. That was good on Hy-Vee to do that, to build that event with it. You said you don't want to make this a Hy-Vee hate, and I don't want to make this a Hy-Vee hate thing either, but Dude, this is the trend with Hy-Vee. This is the trend. This is, when I go to Hy-Vee and I'm walking down the aisle, man, I see, and it's kind of a monopoly because of the amount of selection that they have. So if you try to go other places, or like I got one tiny little Hy-Vee by me that just doesn't have the selection that others do. But you go, man, the prices are crazy high. And then you get to the end of the aisle and there's a cutout of Patrick Mahomes.
Or
Caitlin
Clark.
Turn to the next aisle, and the prices are crazy high, and you're like, crap, man, I'm getting $200 worth of groceries here for nothing. And there's a cutout of Caitlin Clark next to 1,000 basketballs with her signature on it. Why are my tortillas this expensive? So that they can pay Patrick Mahomes and Caitlin Clark, who don't need my money, family owned and operated. Helpful smile in every aisle, but some of them are carrying guns. Again, I don't want to turn this into a Hy-Vee hate thing, but it's frustrating. That's a frustrating thing for me when they're backing out of supporting something local like this. It's funny, Trav. Last night I was going through ideas, going through some different ideas of things, and the Rouen Grand Prix was something that went through my head, right, about what that used to be. That was a really cool thing.
It was fun. Downtown Des Moines.
Right.
They would shut it. I watched Walter Payton drive a car.
IndyCar will not come back without a major sponsor and without, if it's less of an event, IndyCar will go away. These things that make our community special, these things that make our community a community are going away. And not that Hy-Vee owes that to our community. They don't. But damn, it sucks when your money, when you see your dollars again. Man, we talk a lot about the locally owned and operated thing.
True.
Because when you give money to a business, if they have a bigger brand, if they've got a big market, whatever that is, that's where your money is going, where that goes. And when you get to the end of the aisle and you see all the sponsorships and you go, oh, shit. And now their big push now is, hey, we're done squeezing you. We're done squeezing you. Please come back. We've dropped our prices. Please come back. We're done squeezing you. I know you said let's not turn this Hy-Vee hate thing. I didn't want
I worry more about the Iowa Speedway, right? Because,
Yeah.
I mean, at one point we thought it was on its deathbed. Then all of a sudden the IndyCar comes back and you're like, okay. Then they get the NASCAR race. You're like, okay, boom, things are going to start turning around. And you just wonder, how often will NASCAR come back? How and without a major sponsor that makes it an event. Listen, just going to a race is not fun. Unless you're a total gearhead and you like to watch cars turn left. You want to be part of an event. And those concerts made it an event. Now, could you have done something similar without bringing in those big... There's a lot of middle-tier acts that I think people would go watch. You don't need to bring a Luke Combs in just to make it... to bribe people to go.
Probably can't do enough of just local acts.
I'm not even talking local, but I think there's middle tier.
My brain was thinking, just do a local thing. You couldn't just do local acts, but man, you could build a hell of a lineup with some Midwest bands and then bring in one or two headliners for a Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah.
I'm sure they thought about all of this stuff, Travis, and that's...
And, you mentioned the Patrick Mahomes and Caitlin Clark cutouts, but you do a return on your investment. You're like, okay, if I got Patrick Mahomes and Caitlin Clark in my store and I'm selling the basketballs, you can
and they're smart. They're smarter than I am. I'm not. I'm just telling you what goes through my head as a consumer as I'm going through there, and my grocery bill is like all of us, man. I think everybody, when you're walking through the grocery store, it's a painful experience anymore. You're shopping. If you got a couple of kids and you're trying to fill up the fridge and the pantry,
paying $5 for eggs.
Crazy how quick it adds up.
But my big concern is the Iowa Speedway because I think it's a beautiful track. You and I have kind of this love affair with it based on our Rusty Wallace experience. And you thought it was going to be this rise from the ashes story. And it's not like racing's going away, but we understand in motorsports, sponsorships mean everything, absolutely everything. And but the good news for fans, tickets are going to be cut by, they think, 50%. So it's not going to be as expensive as a weekend, but your experience is going to be a lot less, just to let you know. So 515-517-2303. That is the number to call if you want to participate in the show. We're here until 8 o'clock today. It's good to have you along. We know you have choices when it comes to your listening experiences in the morning. We're glad you've taken the time to listen to Ross and myself. And we're going to take a break. We'll be back, continue the conversation after this on the Russ Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Oh, boy. That's right, Brian. It's tailgate season, and Central City's got everything a good tailgate needs.
We have all the beer,
All the good party drinks.
And don't forget the White Claw.
hot dogs, brats, and chips.
Kegs and eggs.
And if you fill up your cooler with beer from Central City, we'll throw in the ice for free. By the way, what team is this supposed to represent?
All the teams, Brian. All the teams. I don't discriminate. Tailgate time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
Hey, I'm Mason out here at Mini of Des Moines, one of the motor advisors. Currently this month, Love is in the Air. We are doing a $1,000 mini loyalty on Countryman, $750 on all other models excluding the BEV. Also, we are doing a $500 Conquest cash on select models, so you do get a benefit even if you're not a Mini owner. So for more information, stop at our showroom. Come see me. We're happy to get that information going. Or see us on our Mini website, miniofdesmoines.com.
When it comes to mortgages, no one is more trusted than Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines, Iowa's top mortgage banker for the past 5 years. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Believe it or not, spring is coming. When it does, be absolutely organized with custom garage or closet systems from Absolute Garage & Closets. Turn a winter mess into a spring success at our showroom in Urbandale or visit absolutegarage.net.
Do you have a pest problem? With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Listen all day long to the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com. You can just click that Listen Live button. We'll be on a repeat loop. Or if you want to start from the very beginning, just listen to the podcast. You can find it right there at therushradio.com or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Something happened last week we didn't get to. Well, first of all, I want to bring up the wrestling because Iowa beat Oklahoma State yesterday. Good win by the Hawkeyes. They only lost one dual meet all year long. That was to Penn State. I think after watching number 3 Iowa beat number 2 Oklahoma State, Ross, it just further solidifies it's Penn State and everybody else. There's nobody else in the mix when it comes to. But that Iowa team, that was a good win yesterday.
Yeah, that was fun, man. Watching that last night, the Ferrari brothers saga. I'm not sure if that a lot of people might not know what the story is, but the Hawkeyes have a wrestler named Angelo Ferrari, and last night he had to wrestle one of the top ranked guys in his weight class from Oklahoma State,
number 3 wrestler at 184 pounds.
And it was a big moment in Hawkeye wrestling. You hate to say that because we're talking about a historic program, but man, this team, again, they're one of the top 3 teams in the country, and now the number 2 team in the country again. But you need a spark. That's weird to say as the number 2 team in the country, but you need a spark. Spencer Lee was supposed to be that guy that was like, all right, here we go. Everything's back. And then it was like, oh, wait. Oh, we're climbing this way. Penn State's still here. So you need something to keep things going. Getting Bo Bassett was a big spark. But, man, the life inside of Carver Hawkeye Arena, it's still right. It's bubbling at the surface.
Yes.
And last night, even watching that, my son is like, this is super cool. This is a great atmosphere. This is really
That's
neat.
An event.
There you go. There. That's the right word for it, Trav. That's an event, and that's a moment when Angelo Ferrari wins that match last night in really super cool fashion. If you didn't get to see it, towards the end of the third period, it looks like it's going to end up being a tied match because if the Oklahoma State kid can hold on for the last 30 seconds and keep him down, it's going to go to overtime. And Ferrari tries about 2 different Granby rolls, which is kind of like you're being held on to and you do a flip.
There's always risk to that.
Crazy athletic, super risky. And he did it twice in the last 30 seconds or so of the match. And he and his brother, and I brought up his brother because he's kind of the beginning of this story. He had a really troubled career. Was that Iowa for?
Did he end up anywhere?
I don't know where he is now, Travis. I don't know, but people might be familiar with him. He's the guy that would do the splits and then flip off the crowd. It's like, oh. Yeah. And last night, his brother Angelo, in overtime, again they're wrestling first takedown wins, and he just gets to the point where he knows he's going to get the takedown. He looks directly at the Oklahoma State coaches and goes, 3. And gets his points and ends the match, and then stands up after beating one of the top ranked guys in the country. And again, not quite carrying your opponent around with your hand in the air while you win the match like happened at Penn State, but it was cool. And I see that in some of the chat there AJ, his brother, is at Cal Bakersfield now.
Yeah, and he's won 34 straight. He's won 34
incredible.
straight. He's a beast.
They're both really, really talented wrestlers, insanely flexible, really strong, aggressive. They've got that, thumb in your eye socket type of mentality that wrestlers have to have, as my buddy Scott would say.
There was hope that he would go to Iowa, but I don't know if that would have been a good cultural fit.
AJ, he was there for a moment.
Yes.
And then and it wasn't a good culture fit. And I was okay with that. That, again, as the dad of a wrestler, that's not the type of wrestler I want my son to aspire to be. But it's the one that my kid came up and watched wrestling with me last night to go, hey, when Ferrari's wrestling, let me know.
And Angelo Ferrari is 10-1 this year. Of course, not a lot. Now, Tyler says he wrestled enough to get a red shirt this year, so he may be able to red shirt this year as well. I don't know how. I don't. The red shirting thing is weird and almost in all sports anymore. It's like you play a certain number of games in football, you play a certain amount of the season in basketball. I don't know what the red shirting rules are.
I think that maybe in wrestling it's a little bit different because guys take time off to go to the Olympics and they can get some extra time. But for the most part, with the other sports, red shirting is non-existent anymore, and when it is, the guy's not going to be there for 4 more years anyway.
Good win by the. Yeah. So the Hawks season is over. Up next would be the Big Ten championships, and then the NCAA championships. Now, they'll be number 2 going in as a team? Will they finish second in the NCAA? Maybe, maybe not. It all depends on how these guys do in their individual matches and where they accumulate points. You hope they can finish second, and that's really where the goal is. They're going to say, well, the goal is the national title. Well, you're not going to beat Penn State. Penn State's just that dominant.
And while we're talking wrestling here, Trav, we should take just a second to give a tip of the cap to Southeast Polk Wrestling. They set the record for the number of points scored by a team at the state tournament. And I think they had that record maybe even going into the finals it was insane. They kind of have done that. What Penn State is doing to college wrestling right now, Southeast Polk has really put themselves in a different category from the rest of the state.
This broke last week. We're going to get to it today, even though it's a little bit old news, and that is Major League Baseball and ESPN are separating after the 2025 season because Major League Baseball was not happy with the deal they had with ESPN. I think ESPN was paying them like $85 million a year. They were looking at other deals that like Apple and Roku were paying, and like, okay, we need a better deal. Who else do you think wants Major League Baseball for multi-millions dollars a year? Maybe some of these streaming services, but as much as I have a problem with ESPN, don't you want to be on ESPN? Don't you want, because ESPN, the fact that ESPN is like, okay, we're not really going to renegotiate, but we're going to go ahead and just separate and go our own ways. Is this good or bad for baseball? Baseball's got a lot of things it needs to take care of with its TV packages.
We
right talked about them for several years with the blackouts and everything like that.
Right. Okay, your question was, does baseball need ESPN? Absolutely. Does ESPN need baseball? Do they need a relationship with Major League Baseball? Absolutely not. Can they call themselves the world sports leader without covering Major League Baseball throughout the summer? Also, no. But when you're going to that negotiating table right now in 2025, who's got that power? Who needs who more than the other? Because baseball needs ESPN.
Yes.
Baseball should be cuddling up to ESPN. Say, please make us your favorite. Please tell everybody how cool we are and how important we are, and tell everybody who our stars are, and introduce them to these young, amazing, talented players that are coming. Please tell our stories. And then your first question was, who is going to spend the money for baseball right now? Tubi? I mean, you're right, Travis. A streaming service would look at this and go, holy cow, this is a lot of content.
Yes. We're all over this.
There's a lot of content, and we can sell the crap out of this, and we can make some money on this. Yes, baseball, here's your millions.
It's just,
and ESPN will cover it, and ESPN will.
They'll cover it. It's just there's been less and less Major League Baseball games on ESPN. They're not paying for $85 million sounds like a lot of money, but in the broadcast rights world, that's
Not a lot.
It's not a lot.
And Trav, I don't blame Major League Baseball, by the way, because their complaint really was, it was like, hey, we haven't gotten what we paid for here. We haven't got what we thought the arrangement was going to be. ESPN doesn't do those things for baseball. They don't promote baseball. You don't tell our story. So that's their argument going into this conversation was, that's how we negotiated last time. And you guys haven't done anything for us. We sold this all to you, and we let you guys have it, and you didn't help us promote it in the right way because obviously you didn't help us promote it the right way. So maybe it's a good thing that they're splitting because, again, if I'm representing Major League Baseball, I am looking at it as, hey, they're going to have to cover us. They're going to be showing games. In June, their options are limited. In July, in August, their options are limited. They're going to do a lot of football, but then they just become basically the NFL network. We got our MLB network. Baseball fans know where to find us.
And ESPN is very aware that, well, they've got the National Football League. They've got college football. The college football playoff contract's going to be up for renegotiation. That's going to cost them an arm and a leg. And there's more money. And the truth is, in today's world, there's more money to be made off football than there is baseball. And because football rules the world right now and probably will for the foreseeable future. Good news, Ross, you can now play for the Yankees. Because you have facial hair.
Because I've been waiting. That invitation's the only thing that's held me back at this point. I was waiting for Travis.
You have facial hair. You have facial hair. You can report to Florida now to play for the Yankees. One of the longest traditions in baseball has been waived by Hal Steinbrenner, who said, he talked with current players, got input from former players. And I don't think he was on board with it, but he was just one of these guys who said, you know what? Change is happening, and I need to change, and we're going to allow facial hair.
Amen. Because it's a logical conversation. We don't allow facial hair. Why? Because we never have. Why? Because it doesn't look good. That's what it doesn't look good. Doesn't represent the brand well. Well, some people actually look better hiding their face behind something.
Be interesting to see how many actually grow facial hair. Like Aaron Judge says, I'm not going to grow a beard. Well, Aaron Judge has the face
Aaron
of
Judge has a baby face.
He does have a baby face.
Right. Vin Scully had a great line, right, about he said, my dear friend Robert Redford, one of the most handsome men in the world, taught me that he never wears any sort of pattern. Robert Redford always wore plain colors and very plain stuff. Now, why did Robert Redford do that? To focus the attention on his face. Somebody had taught him a long time ago that if he wore bland clothing, he would be drawn. People would be drawn to his face. And then Vin Scully's line was, "So you'll notice my colorful lapel. You'll notice that I wear, that my ties always have fancy designs. You'll notice that I surround myself with all sorts of things to distract your eyes so that you're not focused." So that's how that...
Don't look at my face.
Don't look at my face. It's basically what you say by putting all sorts of things around you. That was Vin Scully's line on Robert Redford. I thought that was good. That's an Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge doesn't need it. Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, those guys wouldn't have looked good with a beard.
No. Now, when Johnny Damon played for the Yankees, I always knew Johnny Damon with long hair and a beard playing for the Red Sox.
Johnny Damon without all that facial hair. You can't picture him. And then you put him in the Yankee uniform and you go, oh, yeah, they forced him. They put that square peg in that round hole, didn't they? They forced it in there.
And believe it or not, some players believe in their head that something magical happens when they grow a beard. Now, I don't think their hair is going to be able to be long. And even Hal Steinbrenner said, well, there's going to be limits to what we allow. I don't know if they're going to allow the big bushy, brewer's beard. But like what you have right now, Ross, you'd look good in a Yankee uniform with what you have right now.
On Friday, I'll wear my Yankee jersey. How about that? You'll see what I would look like in a Yankee uniform.
Yeah, and then I'll go, yeah, don't wear jerseys.
Andy Woodley would slap the crap out of me if I showed up wearing a jersey. He'd be like, what? You're an adult.
I would slap the crap out of you.
I thought you were an adult. Are you wearing a jersey?
Well, what you could do, if we're going to get you a jersey, we're going to get you a Quidditch jersey.
Stop it.
A Quidditch jersey.
Okay, so what are we watching here? Hold on.
Ross just found out over the weekend that Quidditch
is a
real
there?
sport.
You're going to have to slow down here. Hold on. What was that guy just doing there?
Quidditch is a real sport that was invented by the Harry Potter writer.
You got to go back on this, dude. Hold on. They're running with sticks between their legs.
It's like hobby horse, lacrosse, and handball all wrapped up into one.
What is it's like a basket. Wait a minute. There's a couple of
you've got 3 hoops.
Hold
you
on.
try to throw it through the hoops.
Balls because there was like a basketball bouncing on the court or on the field earlier. What is this? This is the Harry Potter game come to life?
It is. The Harry Potter game has come to life. There's actually a World Quidditch Championship.
Oh, speaking of slow pitch softball guy.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. You've got the golden snitch. Now,
this is from The Onion. This is not real.
This is very real. Very real.
This is
Look at
not
that.
real.
If you catch the golden snitch, you win the game. I don't know if I want to catch the golden snitch.
If you can grab this dude's butt nutsack,
it looks like a dildo. It looks like a dildo.
And he's got to keep it behind his back and run away from the competitors to make sure they don't get this. This is a joke. This is a joke. This is not This is not. You didn't. I sent this to you, Travis. Look at him. He's not even. You see him fighting the dude off.
Give me the snitch. Give me the snitch. Give me your
was
ball sack.
amazing. Did you see him pushing the dude off with one hand and holding on to the butt nut sack with the other? Oh man, that was incredible. Can you go back to the beginning and play some of that? Because what was the official putting? What was the official? He was doing something when he was like going by and slapping the hands. Watch this early on here. Okay. He's doing something. He's not giving him high fives. He's like doing something. What's he doing here? Look at that.
Checking the hands out to make sure. I don't know what he's doing. Have no clue what he's doing. See, we're gonna have to make up our own sport.
This is
and
like
have a competition this summer.
This is like rugby meets basketball, field hockey, something. So you got to have one hand on your pole the whole time, and then or can you?
No, you got to have the broomstick, which is more like a hobby horse stick.
Dude. Look at this. See, go back for a second. There was another ball bouncing there. Did you see what I was talking about?
I think that
Watch in the background.
I think somebody just kind of threw that on the field.
No, because some idiot was chasing it.
Well,
Anyway.
Because he's like a dog. Oh,
Maybe.
ball.
Remember Rube Waddell? Remember me telling you to listen to the podcast about Rube Waddell?
Yes.
Did you ever listen to it?
I did. I think so. Refresh my memory.
Greatest athlete of all time.
I remember this one. But he was a Rube.
Movies. He was a Rube. He's the reason we say Rube. He's not but that's why they called him Rube, because this guy was the Forrest Gump of athletes.
He'd chase fire trucks.
Literally, if a fire truck went past the field, he would leave the field and chase it. They couldn't let people in the stands hold shiny objects or puppies because he would go into a trance on the mound. He was known in the middle of games to leave to go fishing. And he was a better pitcher than Cy Young. So everybody he was insane. He was crazy. The guy lived the most insane life you've ever heard in your. And by the way, ended up saving like 7 people's lives. Carried a burning stove out of a building one time. Got like 3rd-degree burns all over his body, but saved a whole bunch of people in a building because a stove caught fire, and Rube went over and grabbed the cast iron stove and carried it out of the building. It's the most insane story of a human. I'll get some of the details together, Travis, and we can tell these, but this is...
Get a little clarification on the extra balls on the playing surface, and that is, you know how we've got a little lacrosse here, we got a little handball, somewhat a resemblance of soccer. Apparently, in the game of Quidditch, you can throw a ball at a player that has the game ball and knock them out. So there's a little dodgeball aspect to it too.
You can. That's the dodgeball. Okay.
Yes.
So that those guys are going to get that because that's kind of a weapon in the game. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But nobody wants to catch the golden snitch.
I'll be honest. The guy standing there and fighting off the dude. No. I'll have it. Whoa. Where to go? Where to go?
I wish you all could have seen Ross at 5:40 this morning when I showed it to him for the first time. He
just showed it to me the one time fast, and I was in tears. How can you not be watching that? I did not see the video. I saw the headline last night watching wrestling. I was doing some real estate stuff. So I'm sitting there on my laptop when I got done doing the real estate stuff while I'm watching wrestling, and I'm like, I'm sending Trav some links to stories. Hey, we talk about this. This is a fun one. And I saw this one about Quidditch, and I'm like, this would be funny. This is real. This is...
I believe your headline was, "What the hell? This is real?"
This is real. I didn't watch... That's...
And then I went and found some video today. I'm like, well, if we're going to talk about Quidditch, we might as well have some video of the Quidditch.
Oh, what a fun way to start the day. That's awesome.
If that doesn't put you in a good mood, I don't know what will.
The dude holding the golden nutsack behind his butt. What was it called? The golden... Look at him fighting the dude off.
Just saying.
Somebody had to make him those shorts. Do you realize that
somebody had to make the ball sack? Somebody made the ball sack. Okay? We may be the only radio show in America talking about Quidditch today.
Audrey's watching the show on the TV in there. She just saw the golden nutsack. Go, honey. Sorry. I'm probably going to eat that. I shouldn't say that in front of my kid. Hey, don't watch the show. It's not for children.
Well, the golden snitch in Harry Potter is like this flying shiny ball.
That's what it is. I should have called him a snitch in front of her.
That is a nutsack hanging from a trailer hitch.
Oh. Look at him fighting the dude off with one hand. Did you see that part of it?
Yeah. He's got one hand behind his back, and he's like, he's doing the forearm push away.
Okay. The person, if somebody can grab that, they win the game? The game's over?
Yes. Game's over.
Come on. 3 guys attack him. I guarantee you, me and 2 of my buddies could get that from that guy. Guarantee.
You're probably right. I don't disagree with you.
Trying to hold us all off with one hand? Oh, no. Hey, oh.
Snitches get stitches after a vasectomy. That's from Charlie.
That one does.
I'm telling
Honey,
you, we
how
need
did-
to make up
honey,
our
how
own
did work-
sport
how did
and
work go
have it
today?
this summer.
How did work go today? Well, I mean, good news and bad news. Bad news is somebody got the snitch. Good news is I got one hell of a goose out of it.
Oh, never a dull moment on the Rush.
He checked my oil pretty good, honey. I got to tell you.
Never a dull moment. Before we get out of here today, the Iowa women had a good game yesterday. Lost at home to UCLA by 2. It shows they can play with the best teams in the country.
Yep.
Just another full house at Carver Hawkeye, but an exciting game. It's lost by 2. Officiating was suspect at times, but going back to the way this show started, that it was suspect. But again, never going to be satisfied with 100%. But this team's an NCAA tournament team, and just a disappointing loss to number 3 UCLA, I think it was. So
yeah, top 5 team, and had a shot at the end. A lot of questions about that shot, though, and the play that was run in those final seconds. Weird end to that game, just, with a couple of different possessions in those final 10 seconds or whatever you'd want to call those, that ended up in just a bad shot for the Hawks at the top of the key. Lisa Bluter in attendance again, and just an interesting end to that game, Trav. Unfortunate loss, but I think you put it the right way. Nice that the place is packed and shows that you've got the ability to play with some of those best teams in the country. That's important.
All right, he's Ross Peterson. I'm Travis Justice. Thanks for listening to the Rush Radio Show today. Been a fun day. We're back. Tell a friend about us. Tell them to find it at therushladio.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Thanks for listening to the Rush Radio Show, everybody.
Doug Burgess, Service Manager here at Willis Infinity. As we move into 2025, I want to say one final thank you for what 2024 has brought to us. Getting the opportunity to meet many of your customers, and for you, voting us the #1 Google-ranked dealership in the Midwest. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And to know why, and to have that Willis experience yourself, stop on in or go online to make your appointment at willisinfinity.com.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
When it comes to mortgages, no one is more trusted than Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. With more than 25 years of experience, Gary has been Iowa's top mortgage banker for the past 5 years. With creativity and professionalism, Gary is dedicated to finding unique programs to help you afford the home you deserve. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank/Gary Presnall. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm John Linares, sales manager at Willis Lexus, and this month we're going to help you find your perfect match. Stop out and see us. We've got great inventory of NX and NX Hybrid, TX, and ES. We have more inventory arriving daily, and this month Lexus has also brought back the very popular 42-month lease. Stop out and see us or visit us online at willislexus.com.
Not too many places hit all the right notes. But when it comes to great atmosphere and delicious scratch-made food, Truman's is the name to know. Game days are for Chiefs fans, but every day is for the food fans. Truman's, get to know us by name.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.